Hello. How is everybody doing? Oh my gosh, can you guys hear me? Okay, good. I'm always tired. I had to stop saying that because I said it too much. Sydney says she's tired, but I'm always tired, so I've decided that can't be an answer anymore for me. Yeah, ask right now and we'll see if I can answer it. So what's your question on number 1 on the oral midterm?
So the only way I know how to word it is, what strategy would you best suggest to start number 1?
What's the question again? Read me the question.
Shoot, I don't have it right in front of me, but it was like, oh, here, I got it written down. A student has 4 multiple choice questions. She has 3 choices per question. And we have to find the probability of her getting all the questions incorrect.
Okay, so you know what the definition of probability is. And then I would say a strategy would be, it'd be great to think about what you just did for your team counting investigation that you did yesterday, that you turned in. Did that help at all?
A little bit, yeah, because I was debating on using that or the tree branch method. But
You can use either one. They both work.
Okay.
Yep, you can use either one. They both work.
Okay.
Just don't get overly complicated with your tree diagram because you might start crying. Like,
Okay.
you know, you don't really care. How many choices does it say they have per problem?
3 choices per problem.
Okay, so if they have three choices, like you could say A, B, and C, but on your tree diagram, you really don't care about A, B, and C. You only care about right and wrong, right? So instead of 3 branches, only
That's why I was thinking
branches.
more so using what we did yesterday, because I was trying to use a tree branch and I'm like, this is not going to
Yeah, so either way it'll work. And then maybe after you find the answer, you could verify it with your tree diagram because it might make more sense once you get your answer.
Okay.
All right. Sydney's here. Jessica's here. I'm trying to figure out who I didn't mark that was here. For some reason, you guys like all moved around on me. I don't see Sunita, Betty, Madison, McKenna, Karina, or Andrea yet. Oh my gosh, Hannah, I'm so sorry your laptop's overheating. You might want to try to put something underneath it. My laptop can't sit flat on my desk or it'll overheat because it's on so much. So you can buy those like cooling pads, but okay, you want to know the loser thing they did? You'll love this, guys. Repurposing when you're a mom of 4. So, Hannah, do you see this? Oh, thanks, Karina. Do you see this? It's part of a locker shelf. Do you remember locker shelves when you were in school and you had lockers? So this is part of a locker shelf, and I just put it under my laptop because it's mesh, so the air.
She froze, didn't she?
Okay, it wasn't just me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
It looks like she's still here. She might just have her camera off.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, you froze.
Okay, well, yes, thank goodness I'm on 2 devices at the same time. So I was on my real computer, and then when I moved my laptop, it decided that everything was bad. So I'm logging back in right now to our meeting on my other device. Maybe. There we go.
So Roxanne, I'm talking to McKenna and Maddie, and they couldn't find your class link, saying that it moved.
What?
Yeah.
You just have to click onto the next like click on anywhere in the screen and it'll show another slide, and that I couldn't find it either because it wasn't on the first page, but it's on the
Yeah.
second one.
Same. I had to do that, and that's what I'm kind of explaining right now to them. It
Are
took
you
me a while.
talking about just getting in the class from Canvas?
Yeah, from the homepage.
Oh,
From the
I know
homepage.
what happened. I know what happened. I will fix it because I changed your, you should be able to click the left-hand side of the screen where it says class link. Is there still a class link there or no? Hold on.
No.
Yeah, once you click on the second slide, I found it, but it's like not on the first slide.
Got it. I'll just change it. I was messing with the slides this morning. That's probably why nobody's here. And normally I have a backup on the left-hand side that says class link, but it's not there.
Yeah, it hasn't been there though for a while. I don't think all semester.
It's probably since
Or all
257 started, right? Okay, so let me see. Oh, it's there. Okay, so I just need to copy this. Sorry about that, guys. See what happens when I change things? Oh, I know where I need to go. Okay, so you need to have your MAD, M-A-D packet today. It's in the OneNote notebooks too. I see what I did to you guys. I took my clock off the wall. I made it a big mess now. And I'll put that class time link there. I didn't realize it wasn't there. So weird. Sorry about that. Silly me. Okay, so we talked a tiny bit about number one from the midterm, and we just said you could use a strategy like you just did on your team counting assignment from yesterday. And I will be grading those. Did you notice I've been grading a lot of things in hopes that you can read that feedback before too long? I'm just going to put this clock over here so in case anyone else is having trouble getting in, we can still get in. And I'll make it look prettier later. Okay. So you could use a tree diagram on number one, or you could use, yes, it's the why we need MAD activity. So now people are here. No wonder you weren't here. Feel bad. Okay, so now who am I missing? I have Madison now. Do I have Betty now? Not yet. Sunita, not yet. And Andrea, but I'll put a new link on the left-hand side so you don't have to search for class. By the way, it's the exact same one it was for 250. No, it's a new one, isn't it, for 257? Dang it. I thought I kept the same one. I kept the same office hours, which was nice. Okay, so now it's updated. So if you refresh your Canvas page, you'll see now my clock's under my whiteboard because I just didn't want to put it somewhere else. Okay. Let me start sharing. Oh, I have a boring shirt today. I mean, it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. I just didn't have, I don't have any new shirts. I apparently need to go shopping. Quarantine has made us not shop, right? That's wrong. Okay, So let's talk box and whisker plots. Actually, I'm going to share a different link with you for a second, because before we do the why we need MAD, because I wanted you to see each other's box and whisker plots from yesterday. And so I just put it in the chat. See, they were just looking for that link. Thank you. I think it was Vanessa who told me that I messed everybody up, right? So like are you the one who told me that people couldn't get in? So hopefully it's fixed now. Okay, so now we have Betty and Sunita. And I think it's just Andrea that I'm missing. Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't
Okay.
find the class time.
Sorry
But I
about
found
that. I changed that slide and then I just put it back in there. So sorry about that. And I'll make sure there's a link on the left navigation bar. I just don't know why I took it off. Okay.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Yep. Can you see Google Doc on my screen right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the group work from yesterday. So this was Brianna, Andrea's, and essays. And there's their box and whisker plot. So just take a look for a minute. And I'm going to show you another one. All right, here's another one. This is Sunita's, Vanessa's, and Betty's. So just take a look at it for a minute. Okay, here's another one. This was Tyler's, Jessica's, and Hannah's. Here's Amanda's, Elena's, and Kelsey's. Here's Maddie's, McKenna's, and Bethel's. I don't know whose this is, but anyway, it's here. I don't know if this was a prequel and this is, I think these are two different groups, but I'm not sure. So I just put all the ones that you guys sent me. Okay, so out of all the box and whisker plots that you just saw in here, and you could look at the doc in the chat, right? You could open it up. The link works for anyone. Which one do you think is the most precise, the most complete, includes all the components, whatever you think a box and whisker plot needs? And you can tell me to scroll up or down, or you can look in that doc. So which one is your winner?
Can you scroll down a little bit to the one under mine, Anita's, and Vanessa's? Okay, I want to see who the names were. Yeah.
So this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Which one do you guys like the best? All the numbers were right in all of them, right? All the numbers were calculated correctly. So, oh, McKenna said Sunita's. Jessica said Betty's. Is Sunita and Betty in the same group? Oh, they're in the same group. Okay. Ooh, lots of people like this one. Any other ones that you guys like? There might be more than one that is amazing. I'm telling you, you all had the right numbers. But I'm talking like box and whisker time now, right? Okay, so a lot of people like this one. I would say I like this one, but there's things that I would add that aren't there. Can anyone think of something that's missing from this one?
A title?
Ah, very nice. A title. Anything else? What is this measured in? What is this bottom measured in? What are our units down here? I don't know. It should be dollars, right? So you could have a title at the top. I can't write on this, just so you know. But so you should have a title at the top, and at the bottom it should say prices in dollars or something like that. So let's check some of the other ones. This one, I like all the lines. I would probably like at least one more label in the middle there, so I knew, you know, what my increments were without counting. Do you see what I mean? So you didn't have to label them all, but label a couple more. And this needs a title and label. This one has a title. This one has all the tick marks labeled, which is nice. The only thing I don't see is a dollar sign, right? So, and you could say housing prices or something. Housing scenario 2 made sense to me. Right here, this line should be underneath, and I don't want those things labeled on the box and whisker plot, right? Those should not be labeled on the box and whisker plot. It should look like this. So that I can just look, okay, my min must be 210, my max must be 305, my median must be 235, like even without looking at this. I should just be able to look at your box and whisker plot and know those values. The values aren't labeled on your box and whisker plot, okay? And there's a number line underneath. So here, it's nice because there's more things labeled. Again, just a dollar sign, so we know these are dollar values, right? This one, I like that, except for our spacing changes a little bit here. We go 200, 205, 210, 215, then we jump to 235. I'm not sure that interval is the same. And then 235 to 300,000, I feel like this is not showing an accurate spread here. Do you see? Do you see the difference between this one, how it's laid out? Like I said, all your numbers are right. I'm not worried about the numbers. It's the way the graph is made. So look at how these boxes are compared to this box. Do you see how I can really tell that from the median to Q3, that data is spread out? You see how I can tell that? And I can tell that in this one, and in this one, and in this one, and in this one. Do you see how that data is spread out? Yeah, so, but on this one, I can't see that. So that's why it's really important that that number line at the bottom be accurate interval-wise, because that's what the box and whisker plot is helping you see, is seeing the spread, okay? And then, like I said, I don't know if this was part of it, if this was part of somebody else's, I don't know what this is, but same thing here. We need a number line underneath, we need a title, and we need our boxes to be accurate. So, you know, each one of them we could add something to make it perfect, right? To put that plus on its A, okay? So, but just make sure you know that you need to have a title, you need to have a number line underneath, it should be labeled, and you should have units labeled, okay? You do not have to have those percentages. You actually should not have those percentages. I know when you were doing it in class, you were probably just helping yourself like make sense of the problem, and that's totally fine. But just know when you read a box and whisker plot, it won't have those on there, right? So does it kind of help to see other people's info too? And then go, oh, between all of us, we have it perfect. Because you all had the right numbers. It's just a matter of how to make a box and whisker plot accurately, because a box and whisker plot shows us something that some of the other data displays don't show us, and that's how the data is spread out. So because I can see, oh, from the median to Q3, my data, that 25% of the data is much more spread out. Hannah, question.
Yeah, on box and whisker plots, do we always have to include the 5-number summary? Like, is that part of the plot, or is that just the way for us to make the plot? Okay.
Good question. You don't actually include the 5-number summary at all in a box and whisker
Okay.
plot. That's how you make a box and whisker plot, is using the 5-number summary.
Cool, thanks.
Good question. Okay, so any questions on that part? Oh, good. Why don't you try to draw a box and whisker plot right now for these? Okay. So you can, I'll let you pick. You can either do number 1 or number 2. If I give you too long, you could do them both, but try either number 1 or number 2. Find the 5-number summary and then draw the box and whisker plot. So the only reason I make you find the 5-number summary is because that's how you make the box and whisker plot, right? And see if you can add in all those little precise things like a title, a number line underneath, an accurate interval, and
Do you
unit.
want us to create a title, just our own? Is just showing us numbers?
Yeah, you
Okay.
could just write title if you want.
Okay, thank you. And then for
Yeah.
units, can I just put unit?
Yep,
Just, okay, thank you.
yep. Okay, when you're done, type to me in the chat your favorite data display. I know, it's true. I'm sure you have a favorite. All right. I'm getting a lot of answers. So I think you're close to done, at least with one of them. So let's talk about the answers to these. So first, let's just do your 5-number summary. So who did number 1? Did anyone do number 1? Okay. So the min, Sunita, talk me through your 5-number summary.
So for my 5 and then
Uh-oh, you keep going mute and then not.
can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, so 5 and then what?
For Q1 I got 7, Q2 I got 12, Q3 I got 15, and then the max I got 19.
How many, anyone confirm those numbers? Can anyone confirm them? I didn't do them. So I'm just saying. Madison's saying I cannot confirm them. Did you get something else, Madison?
I got something else.
Okay, and Betty got something else too. So let's take a look. Let's make sure we understand. We know our 5 and our 19 are right, right? So let's order this data least to greatest. 5, 7, 8, 12, 14, 15, 19. And this is what I do. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just to make sure I got them all, right? So my min is this, my max is this. So if I mark them off from the end, my median is 12. Do we agree with that? Okay, now I don't include my median. I seriously usually just change colors and find the middle and say, okay, so now Q1 must be 7, Q3 must be 15. And I erased Sunita, so I don't even know if that was the one. So we're good? Everybody get the same now? What mistake were you making? Those of you that were making a mistake, what were you doing wrong?
The mistake I made is I accidentally included the 12 on both when trying to find the Q1 and Q3. That was my mistake.
Yep, very common. Okay. So is everybody okay now? We good? Okay, good. Now, anyone want to share their box and whisker plot? You can hold it up to the screen or whatever. I just want to see, did you all get the same? Look, Karina's got hers up. Is that kind of what you guys' looks like? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, so I see a title, I see labels, I see lots of good stuff on there. Now, if we're looking at the spread of this data, does it look pretty like evenly spaced between each quartile? What do you think? Yes, no?
Could you say that again? Sorry.
Did it look pretty evenly distributed between each of the quartiles? Is the data mostly evenly spread? Remember, each one of these sections is 25% of the data.
It's not perfect, but it's closer than a lot of ones we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It looks much better than ours yesterday, right? The one we were working on yesterday. So that's true. So just make sure you have a title, make sure you have labels and things like that. How about the second one? Did anyone do number 2? Okay. Bethel did. Did anyone else do number 2? Oh, good. Jessica and Hannah. So what did you get for your 5 number summary? Just tell me your 5 numbers.
For my men, I got 58, Q1 64, median 72.5, the Q3 86.5, and max 93.
Anyone agree with that?
I got 85.5 for Q3, but I didn't double check it, so it might be 86.5.
I got the same
Okay,
thing
so
as
let's-
Hannah.
Let's
Okay.
check. Let's put them in order least to greatest. 58, what do we have then? 63, 65.
It's 85.5. I made a mistake in my, when I was,
Good. I'm glad
calculating.
you caught it. That's awesome. It's very easy to make a silly mistake, right? And that's why it's really important that you show me all your work, because then I can see, I can figure out where those silly mistakes came from, right? So I can just say, oh, it was just a calculator button pushing issue or whatever. So when you have, so I picked one that had an odd number and then an even number of data points, so then you could see. So we know this is our min, we know this is our max. So to find the median, we're just gonna mark off till we get to the middle. And our middle has to be between these two. So we're gonna do 71 plus 74 divided by 2 to get that 72.5. Then my median is here. So these are the numbers I'm finding the middle of. So I'm gonna mark these 2 off, and then I have to find the middle between 63 and 65, which is 64. Then I'm gonna do the same with the upper half, and I need to find the middle between 82 and 89. Which, did we say we changed that number to 85.5?
yeah.
Perfect. So Q1, median, Q2, and the max. All right, good. If you just want to see a website where you can make a box and whisker plot, a real nice, easy way, MetaChart. Have you ever heard of MetaChart? So MetaChart is a real easy one. It does wonders for you. You just need to put in your data, comma, separated. It does not give you the statistics. Some of the other ones give you the statistics with it too, but a lot of times they make the box and whisker plot vertical instead of horizontal. So that might not be what you want. Okay, so I'll put MetaChart in the chat in case you want it. But kids should be able to do this by hand as well as you. So just make sure you can make a box and whisker plot. Okay, So why do we need measures of spread? Now that you've seen a couple different box and whisker plots, like that one, the box and whisker plot looked different than the first one, right? You could see that between the median and Q3 was a little more spread out than the other one. So whenever we report a measure of central tendency, which by the way, what are the measures of central tendency?
Mean, median, mode.
Median mode.
Very nice. Mean, median, and mode. What is range? Is it a measure of central tendency? What's it a measure of?
Isn't it a measure of spread?
It is. It's the most basic measure of spread. So don't get confused. That's one of your questions on the midterm. Okay, just so you know, like on the Canvas part. Okay, so whenever we report a measure of central tendency, we should also report some measure of spread so we can get a better picture of the data. So as we discussed last week, measure of central tendencies, especially the mean, can be affected by outliers. That's what you did in your video assignment. So typically, if we report the mean, we will report the standard or the mean absolute deviation. Okay, that's typical. If we report the median, we will report the IQR or the range. Yes, you wouldn't report the median and the standard deviation together because the standard deviation is not calculated from the median, it's calculated from the mean. Okay, and when you do, if you report the mode, you're probably not reporting very much measure of spread. The usual time when we report the mode is a very specific circumstance. Like if we have categorical data, right? Or if we're trying to find out the most common of something, right? Like what ice cream flavor is the most common, or what shirt size, or what shoe size, or what is the age of people who come to my restaurant, right? That would be the mode that's the most important, not the range of people, right? If I'm trying to figure out where to market my restaurant, I want to know the age, the most common age. So have you ever filled out a survey? How old are you? And it's like 25 to 29, 30 to 34, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out what's the most common. Okay. And outliers are determined by these measures of spread. Okay. MAD. Does everybody have their MAD packet? Why do we need MAD? Yes. Okay. So MAD helps us to describe how concentrated the data is around the mean, how far a typical data value is around the mean. So I'm going to go to our MAD packet. Looks like this. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms. And I want you to do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. And then I want you to answer question 7. And then when you get past number 7, you're going to stop right here. Okay, so you're going to stop after you answer number 7. And you can work together. You'll all have your own packets because this is an assignment. Let's do number 1 together so you kind of understand what's happening. Does that sound like a deal? Okay, so on number 1, here's the data. We have no context. We just have data. Okay, so it wants us to create a histogram in the space below. Now, some of you are like, wait, histogram is usually grouped data. This seems a little weird, whatever. So I'm going to show you what it should look like. We have 4 ones. Do you see that? We have 4 ones. So I'm going to go to this 1 and I'm going to go up to 4. And I could use a very nice straight edge, but there are lines on here, so it shouldn't be too terrible. Okay, so there's my 4 at number 1. Now, normally these bars would touch, right? But since I don't have any 2s, I'm going to have a gap in this, okay? If I had some 2s, they would be connected to my 1s, okay? But I don't have any 2s. So then I have 2 5s. So I'm going to go up here. Okay. There's my 2 5s. And then I have 4 9s. And I just made them like 4 columns wide because it fit very nicely. Okay. On your other ones, you will have bars that touch. Mine don't touch because I have no data there. We can have gaps in histograms if we have missing data. Okay, so that's my histogram. And then I need to find the mean, the median, and the range. So how do we find the mean again?
Adding up the numbers and then dividing it by how many there are.
Very nice. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 5 plus 5 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. So there must be 10 numbers there, which is nice. I could use all my strategies that I learned in Math 256, and I don't even have to pick up my calculator. Because do you notice here, I have a 9 and a 1, and a 9 and a 1, and a 9 and a 1, and a 9 and a 1. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 2 5s, right, is 50. So do you agree that this is 50 divided by 10? And I know what 50 divided by 10 is. It's 5. Yeah, Betty, did we forget all of those things? I know. You guys are so tempted to just grab that calculator and start using it. Please don't, right? I want you to check in today. Just think. Everything we're doing in this beginning part, you can do without a calculator. The median, well, I have them in order right here, but I'm going to do it again. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, 9, 9, 9, 9. And if I mark them off from the ends, I want the middle between 5 and 5, which is still going to be 5. And the range, how do I calculate the range?
The max minus the min.
Very nice. So 9 minus 1, so my range is 8. So I want you to do that for number 3, which is a new data set. I want you to answer number 4. I want you to do number 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to put you in breakout rooms to do that. And they're just going to be random rooms. Okay. Oh, but I'm not the host, so I might have problems. Sorry. All right, now I can put you in breakout rooms. Okay, so go in your breakout rooms, do that. You can work alone and then just discuss it. I don't care. And I'll bring you back in here in about maybe 7 minutes. Okay, so you have about 7 minutes to get through number 7. Hello, Karina, were you done? Yay. Hi, Tyler, were you done?
Yep.
Excellent. Amanda, you were done too? Perfect. Does it make a little more sense why we would need MAD now after looking at those 3 sets of numbers? We're going to talk about it a little bit more. I added the class time link now to the left-hand navigation bar. I don't know what happened, why I never did that before. Weird. Hello, welcome back. Okay, now some of you might not be through number 7. It's okay, but next time work faster. Okay, so, but that's okay. I'm going to give you more work in just a second and you can ask me questions. So our first one looked like that, right? Our second one looked different because now we just had one, right?
You're Roxanne, you're not sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we had 1, 1 on data set B. And then we had like 8 5s, right? And of course, these lines are perfectly straight. And then we had 1 9 up here, right? So your histogram looks different than the first one, right? Yeah. And then what was your mean, median, and mode on data set B? So number 4.
Same as set A.
Oh, interesting. 5, 5, and 8. And then on data set C, we had 1, 1. We had 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. What do we have? 2 5s, 1 6, 1 7, 1 8, and 1 9. So this data set was totally different. And what was our mean, median, and range on this one?
The same 5. Median was 5 and range was 8.
Yeah. Do you see why we need measures of spread? These 3 data sets looked very different. But if I said, oh, the mean was 8, the mean was 5, you'd have been like, okay, so what does it look like? Oh, the median was also 5. Okay, and the range was 8. So all these data sets are exactly the same, right? No, they're not. They don't look anything alike. Their spread is nothing alike. So that's why we can't just report a measure of central tendency. We need to report something with it. And range isn't going to cut it, right? Range didn't tell us anything. Range just said, oh yeah, my highest number was 8 units away from my lowest number. That's it. So now when you were answering question 7, if you were going to pick a number at random from each data set, which number will most likely yield a number that's close to the mean, in this case 5, right? And then which set would be the furthest from the mean, and then which one would give you a number that's not far and not close? What do you think on that?
I said that number 3 has the most likely chance to yield a number that is close to the mean, which is 5, since 5 is the mode of the data.
So this one, data set B right here?
Yes.
How many of you agree that data set B would be the one to give you most likely a number close to 5? I agree. Okay. And then which one would give you one that's most furthest away?
I can go. I said set A because if you look at the means of, if you compare A and C, I was like, oh, there are 2 5s, but in set A, the data is more spread. I mean, because it's asking for the furthest away from the mean, and you only have a 2 out of 10 chance of getting something closer to the mean, while the 1s and the 9s are not even close to the means. While set C, you can see there's 4 and 5. It doesn't say the mean, but it says closest to the mean. So you still have 5, 4, and 6 that are pretty close options.
Right. Do you guys agree that data set A would be the furthest from the mean? Okay, which leaves the other one, right? Data set C would be maybe not close, maybe not far, right? Because it's kind of all spread out. Okay, so step 8 right here, listen carefully. It's going to tell us what to do. For each data set, make a table, find the average of this table, right? So you're going to take each data value and subtract the mean from it. That's why it says x1 minus x bar. X bar is the mean, just so you know. And then it tells you that that number that you're computing is the mean absolute deviation. Then after you do that, on the next few pages, you're going to come back. This is what everybody forgets to do, just so you know. So put a little star here. You're going to come back and answer this. How does the size of the MAD compare to the rank order that you put them in on question 7? So we just said set A would be furthest from the mean, set B would be closest to the mean, set C would be not too close, not too far from the mean. So after we calculate the MAD, we're going to come back and do that. So now let's look how we calculate the MAD. Sorry, I thought it was on a different page. Right here, you need to have those distribution numbers. So I just have done this so many times that I remember. In data set A, right? In data set A, you need to get your data numbers. So we had in data set A, we had 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, and 4, 9, right? That was our data. Our mean was 5. Then it says, okay, take each data value, so take this, and subtract X bar from it. So you're going to go 1 minus 5, and you're going to get -4. 1 minus 5 equals -4. 1 minus 5 equals -4. 1 minus 5 equals -4. Everybody see what I'm doing? It's not hard math yet, right? This is not hard math, it's the interpretation. So 5 minus 5 equals 0. Then 9 minus 5, we're going to get all these positive 4s. And I'm going to pause right there for a minute and make sure everybody understands what I did. Okay, because I know I went really, really fast, but I've done this a lot of times.
So how come we're subtracting 5 from all of them?
Because our formula says subtract the mean. Take each data value and subtract the mean. And remember, our mean in this data set was 5. And what that's doing, remember how this is called the mean absolute deviation? So deviation means difference or change. And so that's what we're doing. We're measuring the changes or the distance from each data point and the mean. Okay, so like the first one is -4 away. Now, any other questions? I'll give you about 30 more seconds to process that before we do this last column.
So X with the line over it just means the mean?
Yes.
Okay. Is that like across all math, or is that just with deviation?
Statistics always refer to X bar. That's how we read it. That's how we read it, as the mean. So X bar is always read as the mean.
Cool, thanks.
It's strange vocabulary. But you see it, if you have a graphing calculator, when you run those stats, you'll see X bar as one of those. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, so this last column, do you notice the only difference between this column and this column? What's the difference?
It's just asking for the absolute value.
It's just asking for the absolute value of what we just did. Perfect, Vanessa. So now remember, it's called mean absolute deviation. So the absolute part is this absolute value that we're doing. So we want it, all that does is make it positive. Everybody understands that, right? Because remember, absolute value means how far is it? What is the distance? And we don't use negatives when we're referring to distance. So these are all 4s. Then we have 2 0s, and then we have 4 4s. So does everybody understand mathematically what we're doing here? We're taking each data value and seeing how far it is from the mean. Okay, and we're making them all positive by taking the absolute value because we want it to be a distance. So we don't want the distance to be negative. Okay, makes sense? All right, so now this last part, what we're going to do is we're going to add all these up. So if you went back a page, it actually said, find the average. Do you see this? It says find the average of that. So that's what we're doing. We're adding these and finding the average. So we're not going to pick up our calculators. Is everybody prepared? How many 4s are here in this last column?
8.
There's 8 of them. What's 8 copies of 4?
32.
32. Very nice. How many data points did we have total?
10.
10. So what happens when we divide 32 by 10?
We get 3 1/5.
It shifts your place value 1 to the left, right? So you get 3 2/10. So the MAD, or the mean absolute deviation of set A, is 3 2/10. So what does that mean? That means that the average distance that the data points are from the mean is 3 2/10. Okay. So on average, the data points are 3 2/10 away from the mean. Now, you're going to do the exact same thing for distribution B and distribution C and calculate your mean absolute deviation. Then you're going to go back and answer that question. Yes? Does everybody understand what you have to do next? Okay, now I'm going to give you time to do that. And then I need to give you the directions for number 9 and number 10 before you leave. So I'm going to give you, I'm just going to keep you here instead of putting you back in your breakout room, okay? So if you have questions, just chat me. Type in the chat when you're done, okay? Type in the chat when you're done. Is the bottom X value, is that supposed to be a 9? Oh yes, that is a 9, you can't tell? Just kidding. Thanks, McKenna. Okay, so work on those two. When you're done, just type to me, let's see, a crazy fun word. Yes, crazy fun word. When you're done with the mean absolute deviation for B and C. And don't forget, you can answer number 8 if you're waiting after you do that. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute, okay, and then we're going to talk. Okay, so you may or may not be finished, but spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it. So if we go back here, I'm not going to write all the work down because you can write it all down, but what did you get for a mean on B? On data set, on distribution B, what did you get?
I got 8/10.
How many of you got 8/10? Okay, very nice, 8/10. And then for distribution C?
I got 2.
I got 2. That's what I got as well. So, and a question on distribution C, don't forget the rules don't change, right? You still do the same thing. Now, on distribution C, was that the one? I can't even remember what distribution C looks like. Okay, so that was the one where you had to subtract them all and then you added them all up. You still have to divide by 10, right? So it doesn't change. Now, so we have MADs of low as 0.8 or 8/10. We have a MAD of 2, and then we have a MAD of 3 and 2/10. So now compare that to what you saw when you answered number 7. So on number 7, which data set gave us one that was really close to the mean, a number that's close to the mean? It was data set B, right? So, and on data set B, wasn't that our smallest MAD? It was only 8/10, and you can write that back here to remind yourself. The MAD was 8/10 on this one. The MAD on this one was the biggest, right? It was 3 and 2/10. And then the MAD on data set C was kind of in the middle there, right? It was 2, so it was higher than 8/10 and lower than 3 and 2/10. Do you see how those two things are related? Yeah. So the smaller the MAD, the closer the data is to the mean, clustered around the mean. The larger the MAD, the further spread out the data is from the mean. Does that make sense? That is a huge understanding right there. So you need to make sure you really understand that. Now, you're going to investigate this more on number 9 and number 10. And I want you to really think this through. Okay. So on number 9, it says, make up your own data set using 10 values, like 1 through 9, that using only the digits 1 through 9, like we just saw on data set A, B, and C. And you want the largest possible MAD. So it shouldn't be smaller than 3 and 2/10 because we know we can get it to be at least 3 and 2/10, right? Okay, now you can't just pretend what your mean is. you have to calculate it. So whatever data you put here, you have to calculate your mean. You can't just say, I'm going to put whatever numbers I want in the first column, and I'm just going to pretend my mean is 5. That's not the game. Okay, it's the real mean of the data set. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing on number 10, except for now you're trying to minimize your MAD. So you're trying to make your MAD as small as possible. Now, it better be smaller than 8/10, because we know we can make it 8/10. Yes? So you're gonna have to think that through. And then this is an assignment you finish and you upload to Canvas, right? So make sure you answer number 11 as well. Yes, question, Karina.
So does our mean for 9 and 10 have to be 5? Or can it be?
Your mean can be anything you want, anything you calculate it to, as long as you've used the values 1 through 9.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. But it has to be the mean of the data. Like, I have to be able to verify that. Okay, I'm going to go back to your slides. I'll stay here and answer questions if you need me to. The rest of these slides talk about standard deviation and give you a lot more examples. Okay, so, and I'm going to send you some videos that walk you through this that some of you might want to watch just for explanation. Okay, but here's your exit ticket. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I'll stay here for a few minutes, but I don't want to keep you.
I have a question.
I'm ready.
Like how Karina had just asked, she said that about the 5 and you had stated that we can use whatever. Is it better to, I mean, I don't know if you could answer this, but would it be better just to keep the mean consistently? Or we just
Doesn't
stick that? Okay.
I
right, then.
did, but
Yeah.
actually I didn't all the time, you know.
Yeah. Okay, then. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Roxanne, can you repeat what you said again about the smaller the MAD and then the larger the MAD? I got that it was like farther spread out, but I liked how you said it better.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I can say it exactly the same again. I'll try. So the larger the MAD, the further the data is spread from the mean. The smaller the MAD, the closer the data is around the mean.
Hey, Roxanne, tomorrow are we going over the percentiles?
Yep.
Okay. Because I did one of the video assignments explain percentiles, and I'm not sure if I like fully understand. Like what?
Did you do the home interpreting test scores? That's a good one too. And then,
I think
yeah,
I did
you
the
did
video
the video
assignment.
assignment. Yeah. And then you can go through the slides too.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I forgot to tell everyone I have office hours tonight again. I forgot. But I have office hours tonight. I'll send a reminder. I thought I made this multiple choice on your exit ticket and it's not grading them. I don't know why. Did it grade them for you? Oh yeah, it did. Okay, good. And for some reason that column wasn't showing. And I just